Welcome to the Bad Fan Podcast. I'm your host, Cole Carter, and we are so glad that you have tuned in with us today. If you're listening along on Spotify, then a big welcome to you. And if you're viewing this on YouTube, then I hope you leave a like if you find today's episode to be a good one. And if you're new to the podcast, then we would be honored for you to subscribe today. Along with subscribing, I would encourage you to click the bell below this video to get notifications for all new videos when they're posted, and that way you are always connected with all things Bad Fan. But I can't do this thing alone, so I am joined by my good friends Stephen Curl and Brandon Patesnick. Let's bring the guys in. Hello, gentlemen. How was the weekend?
Pretty good weekend. Not much to say, honestly. It was just a good weekend.
I hung out with my host over here, Cole Carter. Kicked a soccer ball around, so that was pretty fun. Got to see some friends. Pretty good weekend, yeah. Yeah,
we had a beautiful. It didn't start out to be beautiful, but the skies cleared out and we were able to kick a ball, catch up, and had a really good Saturday. Some good sports over the weekend, obviously. Pretty good weekend, I would say. Starting the week off. Recording this on Monday, not so much, but hey, you get past it, you move on and go to the next one. But we are going to jump into today's journey together here on the Bad Fan, as we always do, taking you guys through everything that you need to know, everything that you need to hear, going into the biggest headlines of the week since the last time that we talked. And the official draw of the 2022 World Cup in Qatar happened this past Friday. It was no April Fool's joke. This is the real thing. And the draw revealed each group from A to H, and most notably showed the world who the U.S. would be playing to start the tournament. And the U.S., I'll show you guys a nice graphic, keep you informed, keep you in the loop. But the U.S.
high production volume here at the Bad Fan.
Yes. And they will be facing our exes from over the pond, England, our good friends, the Islamic Republic of Iran, and we'll be awaiting the European playoff between those last UEFA teams of Ukraine, Wales, and Scotland. So, guys, now that we've seen the groups, what are your initial thoughts on the U.S. men's national teams group? And then we'll get to the whole draw afterwards. Let's start with the U.S. men's. How are you guys feeling about our draw?
I said I wanted to play England.
Yes, you did.
I don't know if that's my fault.
Pull up the video. Let's look at the replay.
Just go back to last week or whenever we recorded that. But that'll be a really fun one. And like I said, the banter between the two countries has already started. For that Euro playoff, I do not want to play Wales. A hot Wales team is a scary Wales team. And, I don't want that. But I'm hoping we come in second. That'd be my prediction out of that group.
Steve?
Yeah, honestly, albeit we didn't get Qatar, but out of that pot one, I think we got the weakest team out of the rest of that. Really? Besides Qatar, I'm looking at Belgium, Brazil, Argentina, France. Is it Spain? Germany was a pot two team, but yeah, Spain. I think all of those teams are better than England.
Better I know than that Portugal? Or worse than Portugal?
Yeah, I'll say it just because I think Portugal hasn't even necessarily even figured out how to play with how to play with Ronaldo yet, honestly. Him being older and having so many new young phenoms on their team. Portugal's a scary team. England, is it coming home? I don't know. But no, I think we was pretty fortunate. And again, England's still an incredible side, and their talent is undisputably insane. But I mean, the last time we were in the same group as them, we finished above them. So, not to say obviously 2 different times and all that kind of stuff as well. But yeah, feeling fortunate with them. Iran's a good team. Not to be overlooked as well. I believe the 94 World Cup, they showed us a lesson. Again, long time ago. But yeah, you can't underestimate these teams. Not to mention, Ukraine, Wales, and Scotland, all pretty decent teams as well. But I mean, I think honestly, you have to expect us to get out of the group stage. The amount of talent that we have in our pool, in my opinion, is it's enough to get out of this group stage. So I think that's where the expectations lie with this men's team. Expectations lie from Greg Berhalter. seeing his reaction even to the draw was encouraging to me. But I don't think our players are phased. And so, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. Could have had a more favorable group for sure. But I think, the pressure's on England. The pressure's on Southgate, in my opinion, to win this group. And so that can be a blessing sometimes, but it can also be a curse, especially English media. I believe the headlines for the last time that we drew in the same group was it easy? I think it was Algeria. Who else was in the group? England, Algeria, like Yanks or something. It was like abbreviation of easy on their front paper after that draw, which they ended up going through. But I think it was like Slovenia, Slovakia or something like that. But anyways, no, I'm excited. I'm getting a little buzzing. Like, I'm tired of playing these CONCACAF teams. I can't imagine playing against Harry Kane, Gareth Bale potentially, and John McGinn for my Villa guy over there. Yeah. So it's exciting. It's an exciting prospect, and I think our players are up for it.
The prospect of playing England, certainly on Black Friday, so the day after Thanksgiving. It should be the main event, hopefully. Going to be an incredible game to see. Hopefully lots of fans are watching. But just the banter, it's already started. Just having looked at the tweets, like when England posted their official tweet of like, fans, what do you think of the draw? And just like the banter between, this will be the final game to decide if it's football or soccer, and just everything that people are saying is going to be pretty awesome. So I know I'm excited. It's always exciting to see your ex, our old colonial overlords. But obviously, we're obviously keeping our eyes peeled to see who that playoff team is going to be. You have Wales, Wales just has been an amazing, cohesive unit recently. You've obviously got Gareth Bale leading the charge, and he just, willed his way last game with that amazing free kick and a good goal as well. Then you have Ukraine, and we'll see how this war with Russia lasts, if it really affects them to be able to be in the World Cup. I was saying even, behind the scenes that might be a inspiring thing for them. They might play for more, just on a world stage for people to see. The Ukrainians are more than just defending their country, but they want to be able to succeed on a world stage and the World Cup. So that might give them an edge, just to have the will factor behind them. So that's why I sort of said maybe Scotland, if I had to have a preference. They still have some talented players, but maybe they would be a little bit more of a pushover and, relativeness to the other two teams. So I would hope to see Scotland out of it, but regardless, we're going to have it cut out for us. We'll still have to beat England, an Iran team that we haven't beat before, and then one of those three. But
yeah,
really quick, I want to go on record and saying that if the likes of a Paul Areola or Giassi Zardes scores on England, I will get their name tattooed on my body.
Oh my God!
Noted.
Don't say that.
I think I'm gonna say it.
Okay.
If Jordan Pickford gives up a goal, or Harry Maguire lets Paul Areola run past him and score a goal in a World Cup game, yeah.
Okay.
I'm tagging Paul and Jesse right now.
Yeah. It's going out later on a tweet or something.
Specifically those two.
I was gonna say every game is hard in the World Cup, so no one should be overlooking anybody. But I think A through D are easier than what is it? Why am I blanking? E through H. I don't know if you want to pull it back up again, but yeah, like all those groups I think are harder than the first four, and so. But there's no group of death, which is weird. I think I don't know if the drawing was new this year or however, but it seems like all the little groups are fair. There you go. But I don't know. Do you guys think one's like harder than the other? I'd probably say, man, I don't know. E or F for me, maybe the hardest, but man, they're all pretty tough.
Well, two things from F. It depends if you're getting the Croatian team from 2018, who went to a final, and depends if Canada can stay hot with what they have. I personally look at Group H and think that's going to be just a really competitive group.
Yeah.
You're talking about Portugal. If they can figure things out, I think they're pretty strong. Ghana always turns up in the World Cup in some capacity. Uruguay has got some great players. You have Suarez and Cavani. This might be their last go at it. And then Korea, they're no slouches. The last time they knocked out Germany, and I think that group of death. So yeah, you have Sonny there, some talented players. So none of them in Group H are pushovers. So that's sort of my group of death. It is sort of a level playing field in most places. Group C, you have Messi taking on Lewandowski and the Mexicans as well. Those are, three pretty solid teams, but across the board, it's going to be a great World Cup. Just looking at the group stage, it'll be entertaining nonetheless.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't even know. I was looking at Group G and I was like, Brazil took the top spot. Switzerland is always in the mix. Cameroon's great. And Serbia has some really good players.
Historically, a really good team as well. Yeah.
Mitrovic. So who knows? It's going to be a great one. I cannot wait for November. I'm really, really excited for that.
Yeah, this will be great. It'll be great. Obviously, all the controversy surrounding the World Cup in Qatar will not be overlooked. Some teams are already, coming out with statements, but it will be hard from a viewer to not want to see the U.S. play and boycott it. So I'll probably be watching, I would say. Hard to not when you miss out in 2018. But the U.S., beyond the World Cup, had another important draw in the CONCACAF Nations League, and they'll be playing against El Salvador and what's the other team? Is it
Grenada, I believe.
Grenada. I did not recognize the flag, to be honest. So yeah, we'll see them starting in June with some group stage games and then finishing off in March 2023. I'm assuming it's play them twice, and then the playoff rounds will continue after that. But that'll be taking place this year and next year after the World Cup. We'll be the defending champions. That'll feel good to say, won't it?
Yeah,
that's definitely right. People have called the CONCACAF Nations League a more prestigious trophy than, the Euro Championship. So, really the U.S. is coming in with the best silverware in this World Cup tournament. So
it's amazing.
Who said that?
Someone did. Don't worry about it.
My source.
Yeah, my source. I think it's Fabrizio Romano. He texted me.
No way.
Fabrizio. Yeah, he's a great source. Here we go. That's his saying. Well, enough about the U.S., enough about soccer, enough about the World Cup for now. Over the weekend, some more headlines as we wrap that one up. The Women's Final Four and the Women's National Championship in basketball happened this weekend. In the Final Four matchups, we saw South Carolina beat Louisville 72-59, and UConn beat Stanford 63-58, with the winners both booking their tickets to the final on Sunday night, which, in a dominating performance, South Carolina Gamecocks are the national champions in 2022, defeating UConn by a score of 64-49. And this was the first time in 11 championship appearances that the Huskies head coach Gino Auriemma lost. And this is now the second time that the South Carolina team has brought home a championship to Columbia. Great to see. I know the favorites always going in every year, UConn, but this South Carolina team has been pretty strong over the past couple seasons, and they get another championship to bring home to their teams. Congrats to the Gamecocks. As we're recording this now, there's the men's national championship going on, but over the weekend, the Final Four matchups took place as well. Kansas defeated Villanova 81-65, a bit of a lopsided victory, but in an absolute classic. The game that everyone was watching. I think this was the highest watched men's basketball game since 2017, and that one was North Carolina Duke. Duke losing out by 4 points to a score of 81-77. And the last time that we see Coach K on the court, on the hardwoods. His storied career is just amazing. He leaves behind an incredible legacy. He was the winningest head coach in NCAA men's history with 1,170 wins, a meager 200 more wins than Jim Boeheim in second, the coach at Syracuse for so long. And Coach K finishes with 36 tournament appearances. That's pretty incredible. 13 Final Fours, also incredible, and 5 national titles. Just a legend of the sport. And don't even forget the fact that he's also got 6 gold medals to his name, coaching the men's national team. So pretty amazing, guys. Quite the legacy. We touched on it a bit, but just watching that game, this whole thing bubbled up to be a pretty incredible game. Brandon, what were your thoughts on the matchup and what you saw?
It was great. It was energetic. It's everything that you would want it to be, everything you expected it to be. Coach K was animated. Everybody was animated. I mean, what a game that was. And, we were really treated to that. It sucks that Coach K obviously didn't make it. The storybook ending that I know my man Steve was looking for.
Yes.
But like you just laid out there, what a freaking career for him. And yeah, congrats on all that.
Yeah, kind of crazy. I mean, it's not often that, you get to see legends of the game step away. And this is a guy that, we've grown up with. He's always been, the front of the magazine or like whatever headlines. Like he's always been that winningest coach, right? And so it's crazy to see, him this year. Last year it was Roy Williams from North Carolina. How cool would it have been, though, had they both stepped away at the same time and this was their last matchup, a Final Four. But, sports aren't that romantic, Steve. I'm sorry I didn't go down that way. But unfortunately, we're recording this as the national championship is happening. Maybe by the time we finish it, we can give you guys a final score.
It is currently halftime, and North Carolina is winning 40-25.
Yes, they are. So we'll keep you guys updated. But we do have to move on as we can't give you any more info on that national championship game. But Champions League is back, guys. Steven, are you excited to watch some Champions League football once again?
Oh, I'm so excited. No, for real. Been watching CONCACAF Nation Champions League or whatnot. I'm excited to see, Real Madrid beat. Yeah, I know, right? It's time to watch the little guys play of Real Madrid and Chelsea, those guys. But no, super excited again about that Real Madrid-Chelsea matchup, to be specific. Real Madrid is kind of my dark horse to win the Champions League this year, and it's all.
I think we lost you there, Steve.
Oh no, buddy. Brandon, Steve, we lost you. Brandon, we're gonna go to you real quick. What's your ideal matchup that you're looking forward to, Brandon?
I'm just looking to see if Man City will get over the hump. Atletico Madrid is, like we saw last stage, they are very, very good, well coached. That is going to be very tough. And like we mentioned a couple episodes ago, they have a very tough month this month. Liverpool twice, Atletico Madrid twice. It's a scary month for them. I'll just say that. So we'll see if they can pull it off.
Steve, give us a recap what you just said.
Just saying that Real Madrid is going to win it all. You can mark it down.
You're simple, man. I think all of these are great matchups, really. The Benfica, they slid their way in, beating Ajax. They have the capability. I mean, these teams are good teams. They deserve their spot in the Champions League for a reason. Villarreal, Bayern. Can the Vampire do it? I don't know. Man City, Atletico, that's the matchup I want to see as well. Can Man City survive just down the stretch facing, Atletico, Simeone, and Suarez and those guys leading the way? It'll be a really, really, really good matchup to see. Chelsea, Real Madrid, I mean, hard to beat that. Chelsea's, I guess they're going to recover. I think they lost recently. Last week, did they lose?
Yeah, we'll get into it. They lost pretty badly to Brentford. But, they seem to play better in the Champions League. I don't know what it is, but, no matter their league form, they just look amazing in the Champions League.
Yeah, so maybe they'll focus on Champions League more, try and get the back-to-back titles. Maybe they'll slip down in the Premier League standings, but we'll get to that soon. Europa League also is back. RB Leipzig takes on Atalanta. That's a really good matchup. Frankfurt taking on Barcelona. Barcelona's been in really good form. I think they're shaping up to be the favorites of the tournament. West Ham and Lyon. The French coming to England, to London, take on the Hammers. Our guy, Tanguy Ndombele, Steve, going to go back to West London. Will he feel back at home? Will he ever be back at Tottenham? I don't think so. Braga and Rangers. Rangers just lost to Celtic over the weekend. Kind of crazy. And
who scored that winning goal in that Rangers Celtic game?
Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Cameron Carter-Vickers, baby.
Does he deserve a spot on the men's national team?
He will get a call up this summer. I'm already telling you, he will get a call up this summer.
People have been saying that he's been the signing of the season for that Celtic team. He's been a standout for them. And, like we say, they want these guys playing in Europe. If they're playing on that stage and performing, they deserve to be on the men's national team. Is there a spot, though? We'll see. Can he take John Brooks' spot? Is there room for him on the bench? I guess we'll find out. See what Greg's thinking.
Who knows?
He may not either.
He doesn't.
Nobody knows.
But the Premier League is back after the international break. Brandon, your team back in action, losing to Wolves 2-1 in a mid-table matchup. What was your breakdown? What did you see from it? How are you feeling about the game?
It was just ugly. There's a ton of mistakes everywhere. Not a whole lot of quality on the day, unfortunately. Both of Wolves' goals were, I don't want to say unearned, but they were due to slippage on the field, both of them. But they could have scored. They could have scored a couple more times that they didn't. So, I'd say they deserve 2 goals. Ollie Watkins for Villa, the striker, had 2 one-on-ones with the keeper and missed both. So that's really confusing. As he's just came back from England international duty. We'd expect him to be maybe flying a little bit. I don't know, but not the case. Yeah, we lost 2-1 in the Midlands Derby, and we move on. Like I said, Wolves had more to fight for. We'll see where they end up at the end of the season. But Villa, hopefully we can just stick in the 9th and just sit there and just hold it down. But we'll see.
Yeah, Liverpool, they kept pace at the top against Watford, beating them 2-0. Watford was competitive. They didn't look bad on the day. But obviously, there's a pretty big talent gap disparity between those two teams. They just didn't have enough to beat that really solid Liverpool side. Anything you guys want to take from that one? We should move on.
I ended up watching that game.
I watched a little bit of it. Watford was set up really well. I think they had some chances, but Liverpool is just class, man. It was a good 2-0 win. Good performance though from Watford. Maybe get things rolling towards the end of the season here. Because Everton, we're about to talk about Everton, but
yeah. Burnley lost to Gucci Man City. If y'all didn't hear about Jack Grealish, he got the new Gucci contract. Man City. They should bring in
Gucci Grealish.
Yeah, bring in Gucci from Atlanta. I want to see him and Jack Grealish in the same room.
Oh my god!
Please make it happen. But City won 2-0. So that title race is staying close. It really is going to come down to the big game this weekend between those two teams, which everyone will be watching. If you're not watching it and you're a soccer fan, then I don't know how else to shame you except to say that you deserve shaming.
Yeah.
It's going to be the biggest game of the year. Just two teams that are going to give it their all. We'll probably see the best teams go out there, the best lineups, and it should be a cracker. I know all eyes in England will be on that one. I think the most important or shocking result was that Palace beat Arsenal 3-0. Just a game that Arsenal didn't look like winning. Palace was just the way better side. And I'm not even trying to say that as a Tottenham fan. I just think that Palace just really showed up, and they showed out against Arsenal, getting 2 goals and then third being a penalty. It's a really good game. Did you guys catch this one today?
I was watching the score. I had a busy day at work, so I wasn't able to watch it. But I just saw 1-0, 2-0. Zaha penalty, 3-0. I was like, what is going on at Palace? But good for them. Like, they're a solid mid-table team. Vieira has them ticking, and Arsenal, really weird performance. I mean, they've been so consistent. I've sort of praised them a lot for their games this year. Maybe this is a wake-up call for them to hit these last couple of weeks hard, but I don't know. It opens up the door, doesn't it?
It does. And I'll say one more thing, that Selhurst Park was just rocking. I mean, they were loving it. They were singing their lungs out. the same week that Patrick Vieira got elected to the Premier League Hall of Fame. So just a big week for Palace. Maybe they can ride that high, like you said, finish top half of the table. But the result, it had a big effect on what Tottenham did over the weekend. I mean, they smashed Newcastle, and they found their way into fourth place in that Champions League spot. So the race is on. Arsenal has one game in hand, and then obviously the big North London derby that finally got scheduled. I think it's on May 12th now. We'll see how it all ends up, but that game is probably debatably how you see things, maybe the second biggest game of the season behind that Liverpool-Man City title match. So the race is on for fourth, guys. I'm really excited. I know the Tottenham guys look really good. A couple of our defenders, like half of our back line scored. Doherty scored. Royale got his first goal. Ben Davies scored for the first time in a couple of years. So the back line getting involved. Harry Kane dropping back, getting some assists. And Sonny as well with a goal and a perfect assist to Ben Davies' header. A shocking result as well from the weekend. Christian Eriksen and the boys at Brentford smoking Chelsea. I watched this one, and when Antonio Rudiger lined up from about like 35 yards out and just scored an absolute banger of a goal, you thought, man, Chelsea's going to pull away. This one will be theirs. But Brentford just coming right back about 2-3 minutes later, scoring a quick, nice goal on the counter, and then just 2-3 more minutes later after that, scoring another goal to go up 2-1, and then them, I think, putting away 2 more goals to settle the thing 4-1. An embarrassing result for Chelsea. Is this, guys, a sign of the times for Chelsea, as we talked about them focusing more on Champions League, or should we expect them to bounce back?
No, I mean, it's just a blip in the radar. I think, Chelsea just be quick to forget about it. And I think it just goes to a testament of, what the Premier League is. Doesn't excuse a pretty poor performance from Chelsea. Maybe they caught themselves lacking a little bit, maybe not feeling like they're have a ton to play for, being in that third spot, kind of in that limbo zone, pretty far enough over that fourth spot that now belongs to Tottenham. Not incredibly far, but far enough to where maybe a little bit comfortable. But yeah, I think they'll bounce back. But you definitely know that coming off winning the Champions League, they're thinking about getting another title because that's what's expected. Maybe you can attest to the poor results with some of the, the crazy drama being around the club here and there, the media. But I think it's not anything to come. I don't know who they play this next weekend, but I'm sure they come back out there rocking with a result.
Yeah, I think you're right, Steve. You nailed that. They're comfortably in third, I'd say. I mean, they won't have many bad results towards the rest of the season, towards the end of the season, and obviously being in the quarterfinals of the Champions League, Real Madrid is obviously on their minds. And Tuchel, I mean, though he doesn't want to lose a game 4-1 at all ever, it's not the worst thing ever because Tuchel's ready to beat the Galacticos for sure. Before we get to this last point, which I'm sure we're going to get into, do you guys think Tottenham can do it? Honest opinions. Do you think Arsenal will slip and choke? Which, I would love to see the Gooners do. I think that'd be so funny. I'm sure you guys would love to see that as well. But actually, what do you guys think?
Honest opinion, looking at the fixtures, we have 2 really big matchups. We still have to play Liverpool at Anfield. That's going to be a huge game. You can win, lose, or draw. It really won't matter too much, I think, because we'll have some other winnable games that we can get some good points from. Obviously, the North London derby is going to be huge. That'll be like the second or third, last game of the season. So that thing's going to be just incredible. I wish I could be there. I'll see if I'm there. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. But I think that Tottenham has the favorable schedule and the lineup of matches. Arsenal, I think, still has to play Chelsea. I think other couple of top half teams. So they have more cut out for them. And they also, I just don't know if they have the depth for it. I think the same week that they play Tottenham, they have to play Leeds before. So they'll probably really have some tired legs from that matchup and coming on the back end to play a Tottenham team that's playing with confidence. They've scored the most goals in 2022. I think they have found their identity. They have found their form under Antonio Conte. after going on that run of win-loss, they've looked like, a team that's looking like they might clinch that fourth spot, in my opinion.
Steve?
Yeah. I'm not nearly as optimistic as my compatriot here.
Never are. You never are.
I think
that's why you're a bad fan.
Yeah, the 5-1 victory over Newcastle is nice, but let's not really forget how poor Newcastle really is as a side. They brought in some cool signings, but this is a team that was headed for relegation, it seemed, in 2021 before this new year. And it showed, and you have these moments out of Tottenham, and you get really excited about it, getting the double over City and all these wonderful things. Then you lose to Burnley, right? So I'm not nearly as optimistic, but I don't think it's going to be Arsenal either. You still have a couple teams in United and West Ham that are right there, and I still think, I do think Tottenham will finish above Arsenal in the standings, but I think it's going to be. I know United has not given me any reason to pick them to finish in Champions League spot that at all, really, other than some of the talent that they have. But I'm going to go with United being at 4th, Tottenham 5th, and then Arsenal below us. I think it's going to be. I think even Ronaldo hasn't even played to his full capability.
That team's falling apart, though.
Yeah, it is, but I think when you have players like Rashford that aren't even started, I don't know. I for whatever reason, I just don't think Arsenal has it in them. They think 3-0, that was just really poor. And I think Tottenham beats them in the North London derby. So I agree with those points that Cole's making. But yeah, I think Tottenham slip. I would love to be proven wrong. But I look at the DNA of the clubs, and all those Manchester United's DNA is rotten and dirty currently right now. I think that they finish 4th. I think Ronaldo scores more goals. I think Bruno gets going. I think Pogba gets going. And I think Maguire stops scoring in his own net. So, yeah. So I think United's going to grab that 4th spot. And West Ham's a good shout, too. I mean, they got a result over the weekend. Don't forget about them. You get these teams like West Ham especially. They're in Europa League right now, but no one's really looking at them. And that can really be to an advantage to a club like them. And they're playing some really good football right now.
Yeah, you want to speak about identity. I think West Ham really has that. Was it David Moyes, right? He's really got them looking good. I just think they'll run out of steam, man. They're playing in the Europa League still. I just don't think they'll do it. Arsenal, I don't know what to do. Spurs could Spurs. Do Arsenal sort of revert back to how they were last season? Because if that's the case, yeah, I mean, it's anybody's game, I think. But I think they're too good to slip up. But I've been trying to tell you guys, don't give up hope on Tottenham, man. They're right there. They have the 3rd best coach in the league, top 5 in the world. So, it's like you never know. And I think that experience might push them up there and get them or keep them in 4th, or, by the end of the season, have them there. I wouldn't bet that, but just thinking about it, I mean, there's no wonder why the top 4 teams are where they are. Obviously great players, a lot of money, but the top 4 coaches in the world, in my opinion. So it's going to be a close one, guys. But thanks for your answer. Thanks for amusing me a little bit. I wanted that because I knew Steve was going to be like, I don't think so.
No, and I don't. I really don't. I see us playing Villa. I believe it's at Villa Park, right?
Is that this week?
I think it's coming up.
So.
I think it's our next game.
Dang.
And
we'll see.
I could see us losing to Villa, and then Arsenal. Brighton's a good side. Then, bam, United beat Everton 5-1 or 5-0. Then it's back even on points. So, too early to tell. But I hope I'm wrong, but I have a feeling that I might not be.
We'll see.
Well, the bottom dwellers that we've been talking about, Everton. Brandon, you said you wanted to dive into this one, and I don't think they. I don't know what they can do anymore. I mean, they just don't look like they know how to win a game. Um, what's the
They
happening
already
there,
signed
guys?
Dele Alli too, so I don't know what else you could really do.
I
I
mean,
mean, what do you have to say? It's just like there's nothing good to say. It's just
there's
been
nothing good to
nightmare.
say.
It's been nightmare after nightmare after nightmare.
Red card after red card. I mean, they're just falling apart. And I was telling Steve, I think they have 2 games in hand. So and they're 3 points above Watford. So that helps them. They have way better players than Watford does. But Steve, you brought up a really good point, which I'll let you share. But like the pressure at Everton is way higher than it is at Watford.
Yeah, I mean, you go with a high profile hire. I think that's another thing too with Everton. Everton brings in Frank Lampard, which hindsight's 2020, and he might end up saving them from relegation. That's not necessarily the point that I'm making, but you go for this high profile hire. I should really say like notoriety hire. Oh, everybody knows who Frank Lampard is, and
Right.
Chelsea, he's the Chelsea guy, and as opposed to getting, uh, you know, who's the Sam Allardyce, or someone that has been there with a team with not a lot of talent and knows how to coach and get a result. And that's not what we're seeing at all from Everton. We're not seeing any identity. We're not seeing any shape holding. We're not seeing anything. And it's a difference between, you look back at Chris Wilder with Sheffield United. Everybody knew they were going down, but they liked the systems that he was playing, and they're willing to give him the job, even though they were getting relegated. But it's different. It's different with Everton. I mean, they're a way bigger club, high-profile players. You go in and sign Donny van de Beek, Dele Alli, and it's, yeah, I don't know. I think there's so much pressure on this club right now. Where you look at Watford, team that really alternates from the Championship and the Premier League. I mean, they come up, they come down, they come up, they come down, and that's kind of what they do. But a relegation for Everton, in which Brandon's talked about this a lot with their financials, would be a catastrophe. This is a team that does not have these relegation clauses built into their players' contracts. A lot of these teams like Norwich and Watford and stuff like that will have built-in contracts to their players that if you get relegated, your wages get cut by 50%. That is not the case with Everton. It is a lose situation, and it doesn't look good. All of that negative being said, still, I won't even say likely, but if I had to bet, I would still say they might be safe, just on quality. But that pressure is almost like a team ahead of them on the table that's just pushing them down. And Frank Lampard, I mean, he hasn't done a single positive thing since being at this club.
Except for one win, I think. I don't even know.
Yes. Yeah. So, and
like
it doesn't get easier.
Championship side in the FA Cup he beat, I think, too.
Yeah.
Was that one, I think he beat
easier.
Leeds, right? The first week or something?
Yes. And so Watford is going to Leeds this weekend, and Everton's going to Manchester United. Exactly the kind of team that Manchester United's waiting to play.
Yeah.
And same thing could be said for Watford. They kind of got some momentum. They didn't win against Liverpool, but they saw Everton lose. So who knows? Maybe that's some inspiration for them. But yeah, it's not looking good for Everton.
I think Everton still has a game to play against Burnley as well. So that'll come down to be a really important game. But sort of on the financial side of things, this is a team that's also looking to build a new stadium. And you can see what that looks like. Tottenham, for example, they built their brand new $1 billion stadium. And that's a team that they were banking on getting Champions League football every year. And so that's hard enough, getting top 6, trying to stay, level on their finances, getting top 6. But like you're saying, if you build a new stadium and you're in the Championship, that's not a good look for your team. You'll definitely have to sell off the likes of Richarlison, Calvert-Lewin. They're all got to be gone, you got to think. So that's a nightmare situation. I know that Frank Lampard was brought in to, extinguish that nightmare situation, but it's not looking good.
It's really not. And I don't think he's a terrible coach. Like, I thought he did okay at Chelsea, and people really hated him for whatever reason. He didn't have the credentials to coach at that high of a level, but he wasn't awful. And he wasn't awful at Derby either in the Championship. So,
right. I was going to say one quick thing, too. Like, in November or early December this year, when he was fired, and this season, him and Tuchel had the same numbers essentially, same
I
amount of
remember
points,
that.
wins, losses, and all that. And he got fired for it, and Tuchel got to stick around. So, he was at a similar coaching level at one point to Tuchel, but I think the standards are so high at Chelsea that he was out. But go ahead.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
You got it.
No, I was just gonna say that I think it's like a lack of awareness of Everton's front office as well to actually see where their club is at. They haven't been good for a long time, and these kind of warning signs have been on the wall, and I think that they've been ignoring them and kind of focusing on cosmetics and players and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I just want to say that quick blurb of just. I don't know how I don't think Frank Lampard's a bad manager. But there's certain manager profiles that you'd want in your club. And maybe they didn't realize that they were going to be in a relegation dogfight. But now they are. And you're stuck with Lampard. I mean, you don't fire him. Even if he loses the next 3 games, you can't. Because then you're waving the white flag. So you're sinking with this man or he's saving your club, one or the other.
Yeah. I think wasn't Dean Smith available at the time too? That weren't there a bunch of like firings, like Villa fired? Or am I making that up?
I think Norwich hired
might
Dean
have
Smith
gotten
pretty
Dean
quick
Smith
after.
Way before?
It was like the
Okay.
same week or something like that. He got fired from Villa, I think.
Okay. Yeah, I thought for some reason in my mind I was thinking like maybe he was available for Everton, and that like Dean Smith might have chose Norwich because he's like, if I keep him up, it's amazing. But then I'm going back to the Championship, which I know, and I could have potentially bring them back up. And that's just sort of funny to think about if that's true, which from what we're getting at, I don't think it is. But like, I mean, like, I don't know, Frank Lampard, man, he does have to do better though. I think he's a good coach, but you have to do better with the squad you have. I know there's pressure. I know there's whatever. It's a scary situation at Everton. I think we've covered that well enough here. But
yeah,
oof.
quick fire: relegation or safety? Steven, for Everton.
Is it Burnley that's in the third to the last spot?
So Everton, safe or relegation? We'll go through them.
All right.
Norwich, Burnley, Watford, Everton right now.
Okay. I'll go that they stay safe.
Brandon.
They will stay safe. I don't know how many points they would need to do that. How many games are there left? 7?
7 or 8, depending on.
I'd say maybe 6 points probably keeps them up above Watford, and they should be able to do that. 6 or 7 points. So who knows? I mean, they're fighting Watford at this point, right? They're not looking up the table. They're looking down, and that's a scary thing. So I still say they'll stay up, though.
I think they'll be safe. They'll figure it out. They've been a Premier League team for too long, too much talent. They'll figure a way to stay safe in the Premier League. Well, like we always love to do, we're going to look back over the pond the other way, going west to the United States, to MLS, Major League Soccer, for the matchups
league
of the weekend, our Fast Five predictions that we threw at you, and sometimes we fall flat on. Recapping them real quick, Philadelphia took on Charlotte. That game ended 2-0. Brandon said 2-0. I said 2-0. Steven said 3-0. Well done, lads. Philadelphia Union taking care of business, as did the three of us. Toronto took on NYC FC with the final score of 2-1. Brandon had that one 2-0. I had a 1-1 draw. Steven had a 2-1 result. Steven knocking it on the head of the nail.
He made fun of me for saying Toronto 2-0, and then he said Toronto 2-1.
It's all mind games. It's all mind games, and you fell for it.
We love that. DC United took on Atlanta United. We didn't have a lot of faith, maybe some more than others. Brandon had a 1-1 draw. I had DC United beating Atlanta 1-0. Steven had a 2-2 draw. Atlanta escapes with a goal in the 92nd minute or something, 90th minute. Marcelino Moreno just sneaks in a header to
Looked
give
a little
Atlanta,
Fally to me too, but that's
gives
a little bit of a
Atlanta
push
the
off
win
there.
late.
No.
But hey, we'll take the win.
Soft.
That pushes Atlanta up to third in the East. New England took on New York Red Bull. They lost to Red Bull by a score of 1-0. Brandon had New England winning 1-0. I had New England winning 2-0. And Steven had New England winning 3-0. We were all blown out of the water. Red Bull took care of business. New England not getting back into form like we predicted them to.
I was going to say, before you move on, Steve said Altidore hat trick, just so we remember that.
No, I meant that for the next New England game. It's the next one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Orlando took on LAFC. Brandon had LAFC winning a score of 3-1. I had a score of 4-1, and Steve actually had Orlando winning 3-0. LAFC won 4-2. I'm going to take the best credit for this one. I had LAFC scoring 4 goals. I'll take that one. But at the end of the day, our scores is they had Brandon had 3 of the 5 correctly predicted. I had 2 of the 5, and Steve had 2 of the 5. And that just shows how good we are at this business, guys. We are so good.
I'm just surprised we predicted 2 games correctly as a group. I mean, Steve got the Toronto game correct. You and I got the Philly-Charlotte game correct.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe we need to start sports betting.
Hey, we'll be open to that betting sponsor if they want to give some money to the channel.
Looking at you, FanDuel.
FanDuel DraftKings, shout out.
Just waiting. But we'll start with some closing statements, guys. Some things to be looking for up in the week, over the weekend. Until next time we see everybody. I am very excited. The Masters are this week at Augusta National. I already saw the drive, chip, and putt championship with all the youngsters. You had the par 3 contest. That's always fun to watch. But all the action starts on Thursday. All eyes are on Augusta, especially over one man. If you guys know who I'm talking about, do you know who it is making the big return? Biggest name in golf. Tiger Woods. Will he play? He's been playing some practice rounds. He played in the PNC Championship, which is like a sort of a family event. So he was playing with his son Charlie, who in himself is an all-star. But I mean, there's been pics, of the practice round that people are already en masse following Tiger, just getting a glimpse of him. Will he play or not is the big question, though. But ultimately, and this is a guy that's won 16, I think, major championships. So he's trying to climb up close to the bear, Jack Nicklaus, and getting that major count up. But is he healthy enough? That's the big issue. You can't ride in a golf cart, a tournament like the Masters. You have to walk all 4 days. So it'll be interesting to see if he pulls out or not. I mean, this is a guy that is so competitive that literally, a year and a half ago or less was debatably in a hospital if he had a leg or not. Like, there was talks of it being amputated. So even if he plays, it'll be an incredible comeback. Definitely newsworthy, but I'm hoping to see him play. Otherwise, I think, you have the big favorites. I think Colin Morikawa, those who follow golf, I think he might have a good shot at getting a Masters green jacket this weekend. It'll be exciting to see. Also this week is opening week, guys, in Major League Baseball. I'm very, very excited for this. The Braves will be getting their World Series rings. We'll be dropping the new pennant. It's going to feel good to be an Atlanta sports fan, Georgia sports fan over the weekend. Lots of awesome stuff going down. I know as this is recording, when it releases, all the Braves will be getting their golden trim merch. That's exciting. I'll probably be getting something from that. Guys, what are you looking out for this weekend and week?
I can go ahead and go.
Yeah, you go.
Oh, my bad. No, I was thinking injuries across the board. Josef Martinez getting his knee looked at. Ozzie Alonso tearing his ACL. Ian Anderson being pulled from a spring training start today with a blister. That's not that big of a deal, but those can nag throughout an entire season, as well as Mike Soroka, seeing what his injury status is, and Ronald Acuna. I'm just thinking of all of my Georgia sports teams. Luke Jackson going down as well.
Might be out for the year, and it might need Tommy John surgery.
It's looking like that for sure. So for me, those are some big names on my beloved Georgia sports teams. But yeah, especially loving to see how Ronald Acuna comes back this year with his injury, and that's not necessarily going to be a take that we'll know by next week. But yeah, curious. That's kind of what I'm looking at. I guess more so on the Atlanta United side as well, of Josef Martinez getting his knee evaluated right after Alonso tears his ACL. Atlanta United with 3 torn ACLs in 3 back-to-back-to-back seasons of Emerson Hyman, Josef Martinez, and now Ozzie Alonso. Not in that order, but injuries can make or break a team. So I'm looking to see that for the Braves. Hopefully they can see what a full year of Ronald Acuna looks like, so they can put all those misled Juan Soto, people are thinking that he's better than Ronald Acuna. Put those rumors to the best.
Short-term memory.
Shame.
Yeah. So that's my big takeaways going into the week of soccer, baseball, as well.
Brandon, anything going up in Ohio this weekend?
Yeah, the women's national team is coming. If you guys didn't know, I think it's the She Believes Cup, I want to say. I don't know, but they're playing. It hasn't been really advertised at all. So I just saw it today. I was like, oh, they're in Columbus. So I might go on Saturday, which would be cool. Yeah. Other than that, there's not much going on, I don't think. Minor league baseball as well starts. The Columbus Clippers do not play at home this week, unfortunately, or I might have gone to a game, and I can't speak. But yeah, opening day, it's always fun to see baseball on the telly. Obviously, the Masters is the only golf event that I follow sort of religiously. So that'll be really, really cool. I'm hoping Tiger plays, but I don't know how you come back from what he's gone through. So we'll see. But yeah, before we close, the national championship game is tied 57-57 with 8 minutes left right now. So I guess we'll have to just leave it there, and we'll see. We'll see what ends up being. But what a game! What a game!
I always love a good national championship. Love those dramatic endings. But we will have to fill you guys in on it next time. We couldn't squeeze it in today's episode. Unfortunate. Those commercial breaks, they really get you. I mean, it's only a 40-minute long game. We've been recording this for close to an hour, and they're still not done. So that ain't on us. That's on them for not getting it done in time. Yep. But it's always been a pleasure to get to record together, to have you guys as the listener and the viewers as well on YouTube. We're really glad that you guys have joined us on The Bad Fan again. Always a pleasure to have you tune in. Always a pleasure to have time together. And if you thought today's episode was a good one, please give it a thumbs up. It's free. It only takes a second of your time, guys. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Become a Bad Fan member today. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers by the summer. That's a big goal of ours. And I mentioned that we might be doing a giveaway at that point. If you guys can get those numbers up, maybe we'll do a giveaway as well. So if you want to help us get there, share it with a friend. Word of mouth is always great. Maybe send a link, share a post. We would greatly appreciate it. And always get involved in the comments down below here on YouTube. Find your way to Instagram. But anything you need is in the description below. You can follow our link tree to all the links that you need to get connected. But once again, thank you for joining us. All of us here at the Bad Fan Podcast. Hope you have a great day. We will see you next time. And until then, peace, everybody.